Hey there, welcome to Rise and Receive, a reset point in your day where you get to stop what you're doing and take a moment to explore how to receive your joyful fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So today we are focusing on part 2 of a 3-part series on receiving support. So if you need support, if you feel that things are harder than they need to be, or you're struggling, even if your mind doesn't say, I need support, you're just struggling. A lot of times you're struggling because you need support. You might not even be aware that you need support, or it's a foreign concept because you think you're supposed to do it all yourself, or you don't know how to ask for support, or you don't know how to receive support. If that feels like you or sounds like you, or it's putting the aha moment into your brain, then stick around because I think you're really going to like today's Rise and Receive. So, part 1 was all about inviting support. Today is part 2, and we're going to talk about how to receive support, even if you don't know where it's going to come from. And part 3, which will be the next one, is going to be connecting the dots between surviving and thriving. In other words, how receiving support is truly one of the non-negotiable aspects or things that you need to open up to and receive in order to make that possible. Receiving support is a non-negotiable if you feel like you've been in survival mode and you want to move into thriving. So today we're going to talk about how to actually receive support, which might be a weird concept to you, but as you may know if you've been visiting these Rise and Receives and exploring the concept of receiving, I'm all about receiving because I've come to understand and see that most people have no idea how to receive. What we know how to do instead is work really hard. We know how to struggle. And believe it or not, while some struggle in life is natural, much of it is learned. And it comes from, this learned struggle comes from over-relying on the doing model of power. We operate more like human doings versus the being model of power, which is the most natural thing in the world. You are a human being. And so in this new series, or set of series that I'm doing for 2021, I'm focusing on how to open the flow gates. Because when you feel stuck around receiving the fulfillment that you want, what most people do is they work even harder. They think, I haven't gotten the thing that I want, so I must need to work harder. And it's actually not the thing you need to do. You actually need to know how to stop working so hard and then tap into this entirely natural but often unfamiliar skill set known as receiving. I teach a simple 3-step receiving method. It's ALI. It stands for awareness, let it be here, and invite more or better. And it is so simple and so profound that the people who put it into practice see the flow gates open up. However, because we have learned how to be human doings and being a human being and the power of that, like, wow, I actually have a skill set where I know how to be, which then is useful, productive, and produces concrete results. What is that? Well, that's what I'm here to illuminate because it really is almost like a forgotten art. So what we're doing at these is I'm illuminating blind spots. And I define a blind spot as when your current point of view hides an essential insight. Now, why is point of view important? Well, another fundamental principle that we explore here at Rise and Receive is that your consciousness creates your reality. And your consciousness is the sum total of everything happening in your inner world. Your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions, sensations, conscious and unconscious. That is your consciousness. And your point of view will really often reveal what your consciousness is at any given moment, because the consciousness is a terrain that most of us are not familiar with. It happens to be the terrain I've been exploring for almost 3 decades, so I love illuminating this terrain because once you understand the lay of the land and how to navigate it, you open up to all sorts of things. So when you have a blind spot, many times you can't even, I mean, think about the definition of it. A blind spot is blind to you. So you need somebody else to point it out to you. Or what I like to offer are clues. So, first of all, a receiving blind spot occurs when you're operating more as a human doing versus a human being. So we're going to illuminate how that shows up here. And when it comes to receiving support, the blind spot I want to illuminate today is what I call the faulty focus blind spot. I've talked about it in other Rise and Receives, and today we're going to talk about it specifically to receiving support. So what happens with the faulty focus blind spot? You might be sabotaging yourself or hindering yourself around receiving support with this blind spot if you are attached to the form. In other words, the form of the support, who's going to provide it, when it's going to be provided, what it looks like is the form, what it looks like out there. And here's what happens is when you're attached to the form of support, you will be limited. This will block the flow or get you stuck around receiving support. Okay, this will cause you to struggle because two things happen when you become attached to the form. The form, the support itself, will either be absent because you'll think support needs to look like this, like it needs to look like a babysitter, or it needs to look like money so I can pay for help, or it needs to look like an assistant, it needs to look like X or Y. So it'll either be absent because it needs to look a certain way, but it's not, you don't see it anywhere, it's not here, so there's no support, or it will be limited because what you can conceive of for support is in a very narrow focus. And the truth is that support could be much broader, much more available to you if you let go of the limiting sort of blinders that you have about what the support is supposed to look like. So if you're attached to the form of what you think the support will look like, that can cause you to be stuck in receiving support. So how do you open the flow gates? Well, one of the principles that allows you to connect to the being model of power is essence. Essence versus form. So essence is how you want to feel when you are receiving the support. What are the feelings? What are the qualities? What's the essence, right? So if, let's say, you are wanting to grow your business and you want to invest in your business, support in that regard might look like money. Now, the form of money can come in many different shapes and sizes. Sometimes, though, we get attached to it has to come from a client, or I have to get a loan, or I have to make a sale. So when you get attached to the form, then the essence of money, which might feel like support or freedom, your capacity to receive it, will get very narrow because you can only let it come in through this sale that you think needs to happen. But the truth is, when you open up to the essence of money, support, it makes your business flow more easily. You feel encouraged, you feel inspired, you connect with the essence of it. Then support can come in unexpected ways. And I can tell you that for myself and my clients who start tapping into the essence of support to receive it from unexpected channels. So I like to say there's one source of money, one source of love, one source of support, which is life itself, and infinite channels. And you really open up to it could come in from anywhere, then it shows up in your life and the flow gates open up. All right? So that's how you open the flow gates. You focus on the essence, so the form will come, and you become an invitation to it. So your job now, when you start to focus on the essence so the form will come, is first of all to be open. If you find yourself getting attached, which is focusing on the form, stand back, use your willingness mantra, which I'm going to tell you again what it is for this particular topic. Be open and then start paying attention because things will show up and your job is to say, thank you, thank you, thank you. What else is possible now? Even if it isn't a perfect match, you can say, thank you, life, for sending me this support. I'm open to an even better match. Doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything because you want to be in alignment to keep the flow going. But you can say, thank you for this support. How does it get even better than this? Right? You just keep staying open to the flow. Now, our card that is the inspiration for this 3-part series is from the brand new Receive card deck. Okay, here it is. That's what it looks like. You'll see a bunch of cards and the booklet. Aren't these beautiful? I can't wait. By the way, I found out that they are going to be in the United States and we'll start shipping them out, if all goes well, May 5th. So we're in the countdown. This card, which might be showing up backwards if we're on Facebook Live, okay, is receive support. And the willingness mantra. So back to support. I am willing to receive support in ways better than I ever imagined possible. I am willing to receive support in ways better than I ever imagined possible. So this statement allows you to be an invitation, takes your attention off of the form, so you're in essence, it's in ways better than I ever imagined possible. And all you're focusing on is receiving. You can also say, I am willing to receive support in expected and unexpected ways. I am open to receiving support in expected and unexpected ways. And one of my favorites lately is, I am willing to expand my capacity to receive support in expected and unexpected ways. So you're not even focusing on getting it, finding it, figuring out the form. You're just focusing on your skill as a receiver. And by the way, everything that we do around receiving is about giving you the skills to become what I call a fortunate receiver. Because receiving is a skill set unto itself. And when you're a fortunate receiver, if you look up fortune and good fortune in the dictionary, it will tell you about receiving things from unknown sources or unexpected methods or channels or ways. Unknown, unexpected, open, just like the majestic tree. All right? The majestic tree is the counterbalance to the focused hunter. So receiving is a skill set. It's about being rather than doing. It's about feeling rather than thinking. All right? It's about receiving rather than hunting or pursuing, just like the majestic tree. So when you need support, notice if you're attached to the form. Notice if you're seeing evidence that it's absent. Stop. Take a breath. I am willing to receive support in ways better than I ever imagined possible. And as you stay open and things show up, say thank you. How does it get even better than this? So I hope this was helpful. Come back for our next Rise and Receive. It'll be the last one of this week. It'll also be while I'm on the road. And if you'd like to get your very own Receive card deck, go to receivecarddeck.com. Pre-order, you'll get your own free gifts. And if you are ready to go deeper and learn how to receive, I hope you will consider joining me at the Receive course. Go to receivecourse.com. You can start for as little as $97 a month. You will have lots and lots of support as you work your way through the 10 modules, which are the 10 powers of being. We have weekly Q&A, drop-in hours. We have our Facebook group that is for this wonderful, expanding community of fortunate receivers. It is so fun to celebrate the successes about the kinds of things that people manifest. And here's the thing to know. When you learn how to receive, you access speed and surpassing. Things start to show up in your life so fast because you open the flow gates in unexpected ways. And this is the key to dissolving your inner glass ceiling, because that's what I'm about. I help goal-oriented, hardworking people to receive their long overdue rewards by learning the simple 3-step receive method. So I hope you'll join me. And if not, keep coming to these Rise and Receives, because this stuff does seep into your consciousness and things start to shift on their own. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye, everybody.